Hey folks, how you doing today? We are having our 10:59 Facebook Live. Nearly made it on time today. I don't know what the percentage is of me making it on time at 10:59, but anyhow, I was messing around. I was trying to get YouTube Live. Today is the first time that I have YouTube Live running at the same time as Facebook Live on through StreamYard, which is pretty cool. It wasn't available to me when I started doing this at the beginning, sometime in January. So I'm psyched to have the YouTube on there as well, get some wider, what's that called? Playtime or I don't know. I don't know what the wider audience. And so want to say welcome to your YouTube viewers. If you're catching this live or if you're catching it on replay as well, just say, thanks for your replay viewers on Facebook as well. If you catch this at a later time, again, my name is Henry Beyer, and I do these Facebook Lives almost every day during the week. Today, it's a short week. It's President's Day weekend this week. And so tomorrow, my son has off from school. So there's a good chance we'll be going skiing tomorrow and won't be doing a Facebook Live unless, or won't be doing a live show unless he and I do it together, which would be kind of fun. I don't know if he'd be into that or not, but it would be fun to do that with him while we're at the ski area. You know, if the cell service and things like that worked out, that could actually be a fun little thing to do. So for those on YouTube and for those on Facebook who have not caught one of these before, look at this. I got my Strong First hat on today. I need to get a Strong for Life hat so I can wear that as well. I do have one, and I got the little logo up there, but this is just little props to Strong First. They're an awesome company, and I've learned a ton from them and from their founder, Pavel Tatsulin, though he likes to go by Pavel. His books, I don't have one sitting here, but his books now used to have Pavel Tatsulin, and now they're just Pavel. Anyhow, Strong First is a great company and like to support them. So I'm Strong for Life. They're Strong First. So you're getting both today. Now, so what I was saying was that we do the format for this, live deal. Hey, welcome viewer, is that we do quote of the day, and then we move into the topics for today. And today is just Friday Kaizen, even though it's Thursday, because more than likely I won't be on tomorrow. So I thought I'd do Friday Kaizen today. And Friday Kaizen it's just talking about making small changes over time. And today's topic is, do you live to train or train to live? And we'll talk about how that can change as you get older. So let's get to the quote of the day. And the quote of today is, I like this one. This is from the Bhagavad. I don't know how to pronounce it. Bhagavad Gita. Should have practiced that before I got on. The Bhagavad Gita. And so that's one of these Indian texts. And the quote is, only those who have genuine self-discipline, who are self-conquered, live in peace. So I was thinking about this in relation to training and into today's topic. Do you live to train or train to live? And yesterday I was talking about, was it yesterday? Might have been the day before. I was talking about self-discipline and the need to have a plan for showing up to help you stick with your fitness and health program, because self-control, motivation will only get you so far in terms of sticking with something like a fitness program, with a health, like with a diet program, with just improving your health. Self-control, self-discipline can only get you so far, because they do require energy. And what you want to use them early on, so that you start creating a habit, and then the habit will takes the place of needing that self-control to do that. And then that energy can be used in doing whatever it is that you want to do. And I was talking about how the plan helps you overcome that, right? Because if you have the plan, then you just show up and you follow and you do the thing that it says that, you just follow the training plan that you have for that day. And then there's no energy or need to try and figure out what you're doing that day, or even to motivate you. So early on, self-discipline. And, now I came to the, this point on Tuesday when I figured out exactly what I wanted to say between self-discipline and the plan. And of course I forgot it already. But never mind there. So anyway, so when we are disciplined about things like about being fit, about eating proper foods, then that actually allows us to be more, gives us more freedom. It gives us more allows us to be more spontaneous. And it's going to be fun. I'm going to just say this now because I don't, I have, well, I don't even, so welcome viewer. Nice to have you here. So I just want to say this. Sometimes when a viewer jumps on, I don't want to make this sound, hey, awesome. I don't want to scare you away by saying this, but sometimes when viewers jump on, I get more self-conscious and I forget what I'm trying to say. And because then I want to say something that's important to you, and so that you are psyched and that you learn something before you have to take off. And then I get self-conscious and then I lose my train of thought, and then I feel like I let you down. So I just want to say that there. So back to only those who have genuine self-discipline, who are self-conquered, live in peace. And, I think that when we are self-disciplined, when we do things, when we sort of control our behavior, and I'm going to use fitness as a thing, right? When you go out and you do your fitness, you say, all right, I'm going to start a fitness program, and you set it up and you start doing those things. Then you create space for you to be able to do other things, right? When you come along, and I'm really having a hard time spitting out what I'm trying to say here. So let's say you you're thinking about getting fit, and there's some things that you want to be able to do that you can't do now, right? And so when you start working on your fitness plan, there'll be days when you don't want to show up and do the thing. There'll be days, and there's still days for me that there are plenty of days when I don't want to show up. But early on, you need that self-discipline in order to start making the physical changes, start creating the physical changes that you want in your body, right? The more times you give in to saying, I don't want to train today, the harder it will be to come back the next time. And then you start having these thoughts about, well, I said I wanted to get fit and blah, 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 and I'm not doing it. And then you start to feel guilty. You start to have these experiences of self-recrimination, and that's not peaceful, is it? Right? So but if you stick with your plan and you keep showing up over time, what happens is after a certain point in time, you have created this habit, this fitness habit, where you go and you do you go running, or you go biking, or you go to the gym and lift some weights, whatever it is. And maybe you have a day when you're not feeling so hot, and you're like, well, I'm not going to do it today. That you have created such a strong base of such a strong habit that if you miss a day, it's okay, right? It doesn't matter, because you'll come back the next day and just pick it up where you left off. And then you don't have those guilty feelings about missing a day of training, or start beating yourself up because you're like, well, you're not really, you're not doing what you said you were going to do. Right. So this to me is what this quote from the Bhagavad Gita is talking about. When you are able to folks, actually, here we go. This is where I think I like this angle even better. So purpose versus personality. This is from Steve Chandler. And if you are not familiar with him, he's got a ton of great books. And one of them is 100 Ways to Motivate Yourself. And I'm just working through this one slowly, but he talks about purpose versus personality. And this is where your self-discipline comes in, because it's our personality that's like, calls as my wife likes to say, calls the wambulance, where you are thinking about, well, I don't want to, I'm not feeling like training today. So, I'm not going to do it. Right. That's your personality. Your purpose is, I decided to get fit because I want to lose some weight. I want to look good, when I go to the pool or go to the beach or whatever it is, or I have this, I want to be able to run a 5K or a 10K or something like that. You have a purpose. And when you have that purpose, then the purpose is it takes precedence over the personality. And you say, okay, well, even though I don't feel like doing this today, I'm going to, I'm going to put on my shoes and I'm going to go out for that run, or I'm going to go into the gym. I'm going to do my warm up. I'm going to start lifting some weights and just see how it goes today. And so the difference between purpose and personality is the personality is like, they sort of they go with their feelings and their emotions and how they're, what they're feeling like that day. And the person with purpose says, you know what, this is what I've committed to doing this thing, and I'm going to show up, I'm going to do it. Right. And that takes that discipline. And when you come from that place, you end up having, you end up being more comfortable with yourself and have that peace of mind. And that was a really long 15 minutes of me not really knowing what I was going to talk about. And so thanks for your patience with me on that one. And so how does that relate to, do you live to train or train to live? And let me hide this for a second, and let's talk about that and how it relates to Friday Kaizen. So again, Friday Kaizen, it's just a name of the sort of what I want to focus on Fridays. And again, Kaizen is making these small changes over time that will produce bigger results down the road. It's this idea of constant and never ending improvement is sort of the idea behind Kaizen. Small changes, and there's that constant and never ending improvement, but it's also making just the small changes, showing up and doing the work. Like, I mean, you could say, I want to get fit, and you sign up these days. I mean, I know that there are gyms that are open and there's people that are going to gyms, but there's also a lot of that's not happening. But for argument's sake, let's just say there's a gym that you can go to. And so you go to the gym and you sign up for your membership. And Kaizen would be, I'm going to go to the gym every day. This would be one approach to Kaizen, but you say, okay, I'm going to go to the gym every day. And you don't even do anything, right? You don't train at all. You just go to the gym and you're in the gym for 30 minutes, right? Even if you don't do a single thing. But the fact that you're going every day to the gym will slowly, eventually you'll be like, all right, well, maybe I'll hop on the treadmill, right? Maybe that takes you a couple of weeks. You're like, you go to the gym every day and you don't do anything. And then one day you decide, okay, I'm going to get on the treadmill. And so you get on the treadmill and you walk on the treadmill for 5 minutes. Maybe you walk on the treadmill for 30 seconds, right? But you do it. And the next day you come back and then you walk on the treadmill again for 30 seconds. That sort of and then you're like, well, okay, I've worked on the treadmill. I worked up to, 20 minutes on the treadmill. All right, I'm going to go over, I'm going to go over and try one of those machines, right? And you go over and use one of the lifting machines, maybe use like a pec deck or I don't know, the leg press or something like that. And you just sit in the thing. You don't even move it. You just sit in it and you get comfortable sitting in it. This is Kaizen and you do that for a while until you're comfortable. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to actually move some weight. I mean, this is a mass exaggeration, right? But if this is what it takes for you to create your fitness habit, then it's worth it, right? And so that's what Kaizen is about. It's about making those small changes and I remember reading where, it was about running. And I remember the guy was like, well, maybe on a day that you wake up and you don't want to run, well, just put on your shoes. Just get your your running clothes on, your shorts, your top, your shoes. And once you're there, each one of those little steps just builds a little bit of momentum, right? And then you walk out the door and you're like, no, I'm not going to do that. So the next day you do the same thing, but instead of you walk out the door and you walk down to the end of your driveway, each one of those things is getting you along the path that you want to go, right? So that's what Kaizen is about. And that's what we talk about usually on Fridays is, all these little things that you can do to get yourself going, right? As long as you make that first step and then keep making those steps, you will become a person who is fit and healthy and strong. If you just keep making those little steps day after day. So let's talk about, do you live to train or train to live? So this is, you can see people on social media and who are, where they'll be like, it's all, how do I want to say it? It's all rah, go hard, go big, go home, no pain, no gain. Right. And the risk, I'm going to reveal my biases here because I am on the side of train to live. The purpose of getting fit and healthy is so that you can go out and live your life as you as you want. The flip side, if you live to train, then there's the risk. And this has happened to me because I used to do this to a certain extent. I used to do this is you will sacrifice other things in your life for the training. And what ends up happening, and this is that one of the things that ends up happening is like you might injure yourself. And this actually happened to me. This was 3 years ago. It was wintertime. It was February, and it was a much different February than it is now. February here in Colorado, right? It's at my house. It's balmy. It's like springtime here. It's kind of crazy. But 3 years ago, it was wintertime. It was cold and a lot of snow. And we were going to go skiing. It was Saturday, and we were going to go skiing. And I had laid out my plan where I had to do this a deadlift set, right? And so I got up early on this Saturday morning, and it was cold. It was like in single digits. It was cold, and we were going to go skiing that day. And this was my last day of deadlifting for this cycle. So I actually was lifting like the most weight I'd ever lifted in the deadlift. And I was feeling rushed because it was morning. I just wanted to get it done. And so I came out to the garage and I didn't warm up. I did maybe a couple of warm-up sets. And then I got into the heavy set that I was going to do in the deadlift. And it was 5 reps I think it was like 93 kilograms, which is like 200 pounds or something like that. So, but for me, that was my personal best at the time. And so what happened is I was supposed to do 5 reps at that, right? And I did 4 reps. And in my mind, I was thinking, well, I probably have 1 more rep, but not 2 more reps left. And there's from Pavel, I mentioned Pavel earlier, he has this idea where you say, okay, you want to finish your set with at least 1 or 2 reps in the tank, right? So by me knowing that I only had at least 1 rep in the tank, but not 2, that was my signal to stop, right? But I didn't. I went for that 5th rep, and my form broke down, and I ended up hurting my back, and I was not able to go skiing that day, right? So my training interfered with my plans in my life, and I spent 6 weeks recovering, doing rehab in order to, get my back into a shape enough to be able to lift heavy again. And so, or lift that kind of weight. It took me a while to work through that. And that was not the first time that's happened. So, and I'm hopefully it's the last, but it probably won't be the last, because sometimes you just can't let yourself. Sometimes it's hard to rein yourself in. So what is this? Do you live to train or train to live? What am I trying to say here? Let's see if I can wrap it up in 6 minutes. So the point about do you live to train or train to live is not to say that living to train is bad, because it really depends on what your focus is. So like, let's say, you're a person who you like competing in powerlifting competitions or weightlifting competitions. There's a purpose behind your training, and a lot of what you do is going to be focused on that. And that's totally cool. I have no issue with that. But when I talk about training to live, it kind of flips the paradigm where you where the purpose for your training is to live a better, higher quality life. Let's say that, right? To live a better, higher quality life is when you're living to train. And when you come from that perspective, this is about mindset. And so I think when you come from that live to train or train to live mindset, what is happening is that it helps you make choices about what you're going to train in the gym. It helps you make choices about how you're going to train in the gym. It helps you make choices about when it's okay to push yourself, when it might be necessary to pull yourself back. And it's funny. So I have these notes down here. And so it takes discipline to form the habit to show up and do the work. It takes discipline to do that, right? At the beginning of your training, it takes discipline to say, okay, I'm going to go to the gym every day. And even if I don't do anything, I'm still going to go to the gym and I'm going to sit there for the 30 minutes. I was talking about that earlier. Sit there for the 30 minutes and I'm going to do that. And after a period of time, that going to the gym becomes your habit and you don't have to put as much energy into doing that things, but you still have to make that choice every day. The habit helps you do it. But you still have to make the choice every day to go. But it also takes just as much discipline to put the brakes on. And this after 26 minutes, this is the message that that I wanted to capture is that when and this is such a massive generalization that I want you to, just bear with me on this, is that when you come from a live to train mentality, you are less likely, it's probable that you're less likely to put the brakes on. You're like, I have to train today. I have to train because I said I would train, right? I feel like crap. I have the flu. But today is a training day, so I have to go and train. That's the type of sort of extreme mindset that I'm trying to capture with this idea of live to train, right? Where everything gets bowled over for the sake of training. And it takes a lot of self-control and a lot of self-discipline to say, you know what? I got to dial it back today and, not go to the gym or take it easy at the gym. I have to alter my training plan for today because I'm just not feeling 100%. And that it takes just as much discipline to do that, to put those brakes on, as it does to show up and do the work, right? And this is the balance that is necessary to keep you training over the long haul. And that's what's really important, is being able to train consistently over decades, over 20, 30 years, right? Like, again, myself as an example, I have these 6 years of consistent training under my belt. But if I stopped today, if I just said, I'm not going to do it anymore, then in a little bit down the road, everything that I've built till now will eventually be gone, will disappear, right? So like fitness is one of these things that you have to keep showing up to do over and over and over again. And so when you come from a train to live mindset, you are willing to, it almost gives you permission to say, today is not the day. This is not happening today. I'm going to come back tomorrow and do this. Whereas if you coming from the train to live side of the coin, live to train side of the coin, man, I always get those mixing those in my brain. The live to train side of the coin, I'm saying you're probably more likely to push yourself when and risk injuring yourself or something like that, and then sort of side rail all of your hard work in the near term. So Friday Kaizen is a way to structure how you approach your training so that it's easier to say, okay, I'm in this for the long haul and I don't need to do that today. I can come back tomorrow and do that, right? Whereas if you feel like you're living to train, you might be, no, I got to do the training. I got to do the training today, right? You kind of have that, man, if I don't train today, everything's going to go to crap sort of thing like that. There's no equanimity there in your approach to the training. And so that's just my cautionary tale today. Sometimes it takes me a long time to get this stuff out of here. It's all sort of up inside my noggin, and sometimes it takes a little bit to flush it out. And even if I do flush it out like today, tomorrow, it's just that repetition of saying it over and over again that helps ingrain that idea in your head. So want to say, thanks for being here. It is now time to leave. Thanks, viewer. This last viewer to show up right at the end. I appreciate you coming on. Want to say thanks to the replay viewers again. And more than likely, won't be seeing you till next week. So want to wish you have a happy President's Weekend and get out there and have some fun. And we'll see you next time. And now it's time to say end broadcast and cheers and thanks for being here.